Now, this evening marks the start of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashana. For Jews around the world, it'll be a very different holiday with socially distanced prayer and smaller family gatherings as they look back on the past year. Special measures are now being taken to make sure that the holiday is COVID safe. We can talk now to Rabbi Bentzi Sudak from the organisation Chabad UK, which provides Jewish education and social welfare throughout the UK. Good afternoon to you, Rabbi. Just for viewers who don't know, tell us more about Rosh Hashana. What's it all about and what usually happens?
Okay, thank you. Rosh Hashana is the Jewish New Year. The word Rosh actually doesn't mean new. Rosh Hashana, New Year. The word actually is the head of the year, because Rosh Hashana actually commemorates the creation of humankind and our relationship with God and each of our individual purpose in this world. So rather than just being a typical New Year's atmosphere, which would be part of a party, the Jewish New Year's atmosphere is one of introspection, prayer, special family gatherings with special foods. And in the synagogue itself, it's almost like a wake-up call. There's something called the shofar, which is a ram's horn that is sounded. And that is something that it's very important for people to hear. And even people who regularly do not attend a synagogue, the one day a year that they will come, or one of the 2 days of the year would be Rosh Hashana, and the 2 days of Rosh Hashana, which is tonight through to Sunday, and the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur.
So there will be lots of changes this year in the family homes and also in the synagogues.
Yes, everything has changed. Well, like I said, it's the one day everyone comes. It's the fullest day in any synagogue. And obviously, because of social distancing, synagogues have to have much smaller capacity, and therefore, before the new regulations came out, people were going to have smaller mini gatherings, outdoor gatherings in marquees, etc., of up to 30 people. But now that is no longer possible because the minimum you need is 10, and the government guidelines are 6. So now a lot of people cannot make it to synagogue. And B, the other important part of the festival is the family gathering. It's the one time of the year where grandparents, cousins, and everyone comes together. And there's a maximum of 6, so there are tremendous amount of changes that people are having to adapt to very quickly.
So what are people saying to you? I mean, how are they coping with these very strict restrictions on what is a very important date?
Well, like everything else, we have to adapt very quickly. And what we've done is one of the things that we have prepared is a kit, a high holiday kit that comes into people's homes. In there is a guide of how to do it on your own at home. And there is one of the customs are special new fruit that you haven't had in a year. So there's a little packet of new fruit, the candles that you have to light, and there's sweet foods that we eat because we want the year to be sweet, etc. That's one of the ways of people are dealing with this, is having to cope with doing it at home. And there will be this is called a shofar, and we have this program called, Shofar on the Block, which brings shofar gatherings and soundings to people outside their homes on as many streets as we can where people have requested. We have volunteers going around doing so people can hear it without having to put themselves in danger or break the restrictions.
You've given us a very vivid illustration there of just what is possible. What is your message to people this year?
Well, the message to people this year on Rosh Hashana especially is that our belief is that this world is like a garden rather than a jungle. And in a garden which is well landscaped, every flower has its place and is purpose to be there. And if this world is a garden, we are part of that garden. And therefore, at any given moment, wherever you are, you have been chosen to be in this world at the time where you are and the circumstances that you are for a specific purpose. And that's why you are here. It wasn't previous generations, it was you and it was I. And we're all part of that garden. And at any given time, there is something, a purpose that each of us have to fulfill. And that's the question on our minds. It's tempting to say, oh, what's going to be, or worrying and anxiety. But the question on our minds shouldn't be of worry or anxiety, but is what does the world need of me now? How can I help someone else? How can I help my family? How can I help myself? But what is the next action that I must take?
Well, that will be a very comforting message to a lot of people. Thank you very much for joining us, Rabbi Bentzi Sudak. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, leaders in the